I am going to test these RGB light sticks one by one to see which one is the best. So this actually was a pretty cool test here, because we get all these different lights with different brightnesses and different max watt outputs. So we have a different one here. This one is from Aputure, and it's actually the only one that has these magnets, really strong magnets that you can stick to any metal surface. That's pretty handy if you like that. This one is from Ulanzi, which is a very affordable one, just a very light stick, easy to use. And this one is very large, and it is from Amaran. It has a very large battery here as well, so this is a little bit more heavy. Then you have one from Small Rig here, which has these barn doors, which is pretty cool, so you can direct the light to anywhere you want. It also has a battery handle grip, so that makes it a little bit more larger and heavy. Then here you have a Godox one, which is actually on the Aputure stand right now. This is what you get with the Aputure, but the Godox one, it's a little bit more separate LEDs, so this is pretty cool and pretty bright as well. A smaller one than this one from Newer, which has a pretty handy app, also very large and affordable. And then you have the first one I got, the one from Viltrox, which is also pretty large and very bright, so that's cool. So those are the different ones. We got all the brands, all the major brands here that we use for recording. So first up is the Ulanzi stick here. If you want something affordable, then this is the way to go. This doesn't cost that much, but it's still very powerful. So you can do 360-degree RGB with this. A very basic menu function here at the back, so you can plus and minus everything here. You get some lighting functions like thunder and that sort of thing. All of these have that. All of these have 360 RGB, so you don't need to not get one because of that. And this can reach up to 395 lux of brightness, so it's not that bright, but it's also pretty okay for like a small cheap thing like this. It's a little bit like a lightsaber. It feels very flimsy, but it will hold up quite well if you don't knock this into anything. And you get a 2600 milliamp battery in this, which should last you up to about 70 minutes. So that is still fine. You can take this along with you to your products and, well, really use this any way you like. You have a little USB-C port here to charge it, so it's very easy to use. Now it isn't that bright compared to like the next step up, which is the smaller Godox right here. So this one has a 2900 milliamp battery, which can last about 60 minutes, so a little shorter than the Ulanzi one, but it's also a lot brighter here. So that's also pretty cool. This is more of like a tube thing than the rest, so it's encapsulated in like this tube, which makes it very heavy duty, but still quite light. So I like the design that this has. It's quite different than the rest, which use aluminum housing, for example, to make it really sturdy. But this one is very light, very easy to take with you, but still very sturdy. So that's pretty cool. All of these also have like this thread, so you can add that to like any tripod or any camera equipment clamp that you have. So that's also very easy to use. This one also does all the 360 RGB lights. It has 2700 to 6500K scale, so you can get pretty bright sunlight, but also very low sunrise. It's not the most range here, but still very good. And this one is also still pretty affordable, so this is a very good option if you want a little bit more professional quality than the Ulanzi one. Now this one is very premium. It's also about the same size, but this is the one which has like the magnets here, so you can stick this to anything, which is quite cool. You can easily turn this on, and as you can see, this also is very bright. Now this is a large step up from the Godox one, so this is a very premium brand here. It is the Aputure MT Pro. Now this stand actually comes with this Aputure MT Pro, so you can easily add that to there. You can clamp it to any metal surface with the very strong magnets, so that's pretty cool. And you can also put this horizontally. This is the only one that has a horizontal thread line, so you can add that to like your stand in a horizontal way if you need that. So this is very, very versatile. This is a lot more expensive, but it can go from 2000 to 10,000 K watts to get that really bright setting, very bright white light to a very warm sunrise. So the range is also a lot larger here. So this can go up to 614 lux, which is almost double that of the Ulanzi one, as you can see when you put them side by side. So that is pretty cool. So this is a lot brighter, and even brighter than the Godox one, with also a little bit more range. Now you also get an app with this, so it's usable with the Sidus Link app. So you can easily connect this and then make minute changes here all across the RGBs here. It has 36 different separate RGB lights that you can each control separately, so you can have like a gradient here of colors, and this is also the only one that does that, which is, well, pretty cool. Then a little bit more affordable, but also in the same kind of price range as this MT Pro, is this small rig one. It has this barn door, which is cool. It's the RT25, so this has 25 watts of output. So let's see that on there as well. This can also go from 2500 to 10K, and so this also has that large range that the MT Pro here has. That's a little bit more affordable, but it's also just a little bit larger. So the battery that's in here, that's actually here in the handle, which makes it very easy to take with you. It's a very ergonomic handle with rubberized incantations here, so you can easily grab that. But the special thing about this is this barn door system, where you can really direct the light towards something, or make it a little bit wider, so you can have a wider range of light here. It's also completely RGB and 360 degree usable, so you can get all of these colors as well. You can't use a separate RGBs to make it very granular, and it also doesn't have an app, so that's a little bit different than the MT Pro. So if you really like that, having that app to make your minute adjustments, or have different scenes that you can use with this, so you can immediately get back to your scene, or connect it with multiple devices, then this MT Pro is just a little bit better. But this small rig one is really, really usable here. Now, because it has this large battery here in the handle, it should give you about 2 hours of full usage. So that's a lot longer than these smaller ones where the battery is integrated into the tube. It's a little bit of a hassle to take this with you, I think, but you can unscrew this and then take that with you in your bag, which is also pretty easy to do. Let's turn that off, and then just push a little button here at the back, unscrew this, and then you have the handle and the larger tube here separate. And you also get a very cool bag here with it, so you can take that with you, which is pretty cool and very, very sturdy. So you get a cool bag with the small rig one. The MT Pro also has a bag, and this is actually the coolest bag that I've ever seen for a light. So this is a very high-end camera equipment bag, very sturdy. Everything is integrated here, so no loose parts. You can keep your light in there, and then there's a separate place for the tripod right there. So this is very cool. So this is the best bag that you get with it, I think. And for example, this is the bag that you get with the Godox. So also a nice carrying bag, but this doesn't do anything to protect the Godox, just a little bit. It's a cool material, but it isn't a hard case. So that's a little bit of a difference here as well. Now this Godox one is affordable and also has app control, which is pretty cool. So this small rig does not, and the Ulanzi does not as well. So those are a bit of the differences between these smaller ones that you can get. Then we can get into the little bit larger ones. This is the Viltrox K60, which is just a little bit larger here and also very easy to use. You also get an app with this, so you can use that to control this light very, very easily. This one has a 2500 to 8500 K range, so it's a little bit less than the small rig and the MT Pro here, but a little bit larger than the Godox one, so those are a little bit differences here as well. It has a 2200 milliamp battery, so this can be used for around 90 minutes of continual use, because it's also just a little bit larger. So that's it's pretty okay. Now, it's 1.5 hours, so I think that places it a little bit above those smaller ones here, a little bit below the small rig one, which has like the separate handle, but this one does not. It's all tube light, and I think it's about the same size as the small rig with the handle attached. So let's see. Yep, it's about the same height as that small rig one, but it's all light, so that's pretty cool. It's also the only one this large that I found that still uses USB-C for charging, and I think that's very easy because you just need one USB-C and you can charge any device that you take with you. So these can all be charged with USB-C, but the other larger ones, as we'll see, have their separate power sources, so you always have to take those with you as well. Now this can also do full RGB, so 360 degrees of color. You can easily set those in the app as well, and in the menu it's just a little bit of a different menu than with the MT Pro or the small rig one. So here you have like a little jog wheel that you can use, but with this one it's just a plus and minus, so that's a little bit of a cheaper version, I think, of adjusting this. The Godox one also has a jog wheel, and then the Ulanzi also only has that plus and minus menu, so this falls into that same category. Although this is a lot sturdier than the Ulanzi one, this is really a cheaply made product that's for a different purpose, but this feels like it's meant to be used by pros as well, so it's really sturdy, so that's not something you have to worry about here. It says the brightness here can reach up to 1800 lumens, which is also a little bit larger than the MT Pro here. Then we have another large one, which is the newer TL60 RGB Tube Light. This is also very large and very bright, so you can easily turn this on. And let's put this next to this one, the Viltrox one. It's also a lot larger than the Viltrox one, but it's all one piece as well, so it doesn't include a handle with the power supply in it. It's just all in here, although it is charged via a standard plug, so not a USB-C cable. So this newer one also uses an app, the newer app, so it's also pretty easy to use. You can select all of the colors here from a color wheel, for example, or use different types of selection of colors. You can have some scenes here, so do like lightning or a different type of scene, so you can all set that right from here in the newer app. But this is the only one that also features like a little touch screen here where you can select the color, so that's a nice addition. I didn't use it that much, but it is pretty fun to have, and if you set that to like a specific color, you can unlock it and then set that to a different color quite easily from the handle, and unlock it again once you have the right color that you want. So it is a nice addition to see that they try to do something different here, like maybe for like some different use cases, and really quickly get the color that you want without using like an app. It's a lot faster than choosing something from RGB from like a little menu where you have to scroll through the RGB colors, and this lets you choose, well, right from the stick what you want. So I think it's really cool, and it's also a pretty affordable brand, newer. It's about in the same price range here as some of the smaller ones. Of course, you get a very large one with that cool addition there, so I think it's very flexible, very large, and very easy to use. Now, of course, you also get RGB colors 360 degrees, so you can select everything here that you want. This supports 2500 to 10,000K, so you can go really bright sunlight to a very warm color. It's the same here as this MT Pro one, so it's a very affordable brand that offers all of these solutions as well. And it can go up to 1730 lux here luminance, so that's also pretty bright. Very cool that they have that in such an affordable package. Then lastly, this one is really insanely long, but the handle makes it long. It's actually the same size as the newer one, but with this handle that makes it exceptionally long, and that's because the battery is in here. So this is charged also via a DC in plug, and when you connect it, you plug in this little plug here, and then you can turn it on. So let's do that. This is very exceptionally bright, and this is probably the most premium one that we have here. It's from the same brand here, Aputure, as the MT Pro, but this is Amaran by Aputure, so it's a little bit of a different brand, I think, or brand collaboration. This is the T2C, and it supports 2500 to 7500K, so it's a little smaller range than this one or the newer one, but that's okay. You don't always need to use that. So let's separate that a bit from the rest here and turn some of these off so you can really see the difference here. I'll take this on my lap right here, so because it's just so high. So this is one of those Pro things with DMX control, so very flexible here. You can set everything from in the menu, but also from in the app. The same one as the MT Pro here. This one has 20 watts of power, so 2500 to 7500K, and you can use this in a wide range of scenarios. So this exceeds 479 lux, and you can do full 360 range of colors, of course. Then you have a few effects that you can use with it, as with all of these. It's the same type of effects, so lightning and paparazzi with those flashes, for example. It has a very large battery, so you have to charge it with the 14.8 volts, but this does have a very large capacity battery. So it does give you advantages here when you use something like this. This gives you, with this very large light, up to 4 hours of battery use. So if you take this with you, you'll never run out of battery. So some of these are already out of battery from my full day of reviewing them and using them. So the small rig is out of battery now, and this MT Pro one as well, but this one is still going strong, so that's also pretty easy to use. You have a 1/4 inch screw, a 3/8 inch screw, and all these different types of screws to be able to use this with your camera gear and really attach this somewhere and make sure that stays in place, and make sure you can light your subjects really well. And the app for this one and this MT Pro one is the most versatile out of all of the apps, so more versatile than the newer app, for example, and the Godox app. And there's also the ability to add more different devices, so you can only add Godox ones or newer ones on those apps, but these can work with any type of fixture light that supports that app, which is all of the Pro ones. So I think it's also a little bit more flexible to use these together. So while the Ulanzi one is great if you want something light and affordable, when you want to go pro, there's nothing better than the MT Pro right here. If you want a small one, I really recommend this one because of the app and the flexibility, ease of use, and the power output here. Or this large one from Amaran, if you want something really flexible, that's really large and can last you all day, 4 hours with this one of continual use. So that's pretty cool. If you want a little bit more affordable and a large one, then this newer one is great as well. So I really enjoy using this, especially with the side panel here, so you can easily, well, select the color without using the app. I think that's a really nice addition here. So if you want a little bit something more affordable, which is still large, then this newer one is great as well. The other ones were okay, but nothing special.